Good evening, everyone. I'm John Truitt. Tonight on your WZMQ News, the court case against a Rapid River man accused of arson has been stalled following a competency exam. We've got the latest. Plus, we've got interviews with candidates running for City Commission in Marquette and Gladstone. We'll hear what they want the voters to know ahead of tomorrow's election. And later, National Hospice and Palliative Care Month kicks off. We'll show you how some Delta County organizations kicked off the month and honored the work of hospice professionals. Your 19 News at 6 starts right now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 6.
Hello, Kelly. How's the forecast looking today?
Hey John, the forecast isn't looking too bad for this evening. A bit of a different picture though on our 19 News Skycam because of that daylight saving time, so it is a bit darker than we have been used to, but still a great picture out here. We're nice and dry. This is a look at our current radar. Doppler Max really not showing anything, so it's a nice night. Hopefully you feel rejuvenated, getting that extra hour of sleep back over the weekend. Temperatures very comfortable, mid-40s. We still have some lower 50s down there to the southern portions of the UP, and across the nighttime we'll still have clear skies. There may be a few extra clouds for tomorrow, but it will be a chilly start. We'll talk more about the cold and some potential for some snow later on the forecast. Don't worry, I'll talk.
Thanks a lot, Kelly. We have new updates tonight on a case against a Rapid River man accused of setting fire to a local business. Just after midnight on September 1st, Michigan State Police troopers responded to an arson attack on the Rapid River pub. An investigation led to the arrest of 33-year-old Stephen Prestridge, who was ordered to undergo a competency exam before the case could proceed. Prestridge has since been found incompetent, but restorable, meaning that the case will remain in a holding pattern until there is a bed available for him at an appropriate facility. Once there, doctors will provide updates on his competency to the court. WZMQ will continue to follow this case and provide any updates as it develops. November 4th is Election Day. On tomorrow's ballot in Marquette, 2 active city commissioners are running to hold their positions. Sally Davis has sat on the commission since April of 2020. Prior to her position with the city, she has won a number of awards for her work around the Upper Peninsula and beyond, including ongoing nonprofit work with the Rotary Club of Marquette. Davis looks to continue her efforts of leadership for the city of Marquette.
I have been so pleased with the support from the community, and I really appreciate all of those who stopped to talk to me and ask me about different issues with the city. And this is an opportunity to continue my service to the community.
Michael Larson also currently holds a seat on the Marquette City Commission. Appointed in 2023, this is his first time officially on the ballot for the position. After 6 years on the city's Planning Commission and 2 years on the Board of Zoning Appeals, his experience brings ideas of infrastructure and housing growth to the table.
I want to be able to, balance growth responsibly while maintaining what makes Marquette special. And I think we do that by listening to the citizens, helping to balance the budget, and having a city staff that is, willing to do the work and go the distance.
And Larson are joined by Matthew Lutenberger on the city's ballot, and you can find our interview with him on WZMQ's website, WZMQ19.com. In Gladstone, 3 city commission seats are up for grabs. Sitting Commissioner Steve O'Driscoll, Joe Thompson are looking to retain their seats, and fellow candidates Mike O'Connor and Whitney Maloney are hoping to join the board. O'Driscoll has served on the board for just under a half a year. If elected, he hopes to wean the city off of funds from Public Act 33, which allows the city to levy taxes for public safety needs without a community vote.
Our responsibilities to the retirement system are decreasing greatly over the next 3 years. We will have funds to supplant those funds and not tax our residents as heavily as we have been. I believe in voters speaking for what they want to spend their money on. We should be living within our means.
We'll have more from O'Driscoll at 11:10 Central, and you can hear from two of the other candidates on the race on our website. Michigan Congresswoman Haley Stevens is running for the U.S. Senate seat vacated by retiring Senator Gary Peters. Her campaign quickly gained momentum with backing from top Democratic leaders, including Chuck Schumer and the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee. Stevens was in the UP over the weekend, listening to UP residents and in several communities to find out what issues are important to UPers.
It's a chaotic and confusing time, but the impacts of that on people are what need to be heard. And that's why, as I'm campaigning for United States Senate, I'm meeting people where they're at. I'm capturing what's on their mind. And I'm here, sleeves rolled up, to say, I want to get some things done for Michigan.
Stevens is a centrist Democrat from Rochester Hills who's been representing Michigan's 11th congressional district since 2019. Stevens represents most of the urbanized Oakland County area, including many of Detroit's northern suburbs. U.S. Senate candidate Mallory McMorrow is also making her voice heard to Upper Michigan voters. Serving since 2019 as a representative of the 8th District, McMorrow is currently the state's majority whip in the Senate. Her McMorrow on Tap brewery tour has recently made stops in Marquette, St. Ignace, and the Sioux. With her focus on strengthening future generations, McMorrow plans to rethink the American dream in Michigan.
As I travel the state, there are a lot of people who feel like they have done everything right and they just can't make it work. This has been broken for a long time, and that's the message that we're running on, that from a state like Michigan, we can write what that future looks like so that if you work hard, you have every opportunity to live the American dream.
We'll be sure to have campaign coverage on the U.S. Senate run in Michigan's campaigning continues throughout the state. The holiday season has officially arrived in Lansing. And this year, the Capitol Christmas tree straight up from the UP. The Capitol Christmas tree is a 60-foot spruce from Sault Ste. Marie, cut and hauled and escorted downstate with plenty of holiday cheer along the way. Crews from across Michigan helped harvest, transport, and guide the tree to the Capitol lawn, where it now is standing proud and ready for the season. The tree will soon be trimmed and shaped and decorated just in time for Silver Bells in the city on November 21st. Your first warning weather forecast after the break, plus food security remains an issue for many in the UP. We'll show you how a local library is helping those in need get free food. And later, we'll show you how end-of-life caretakers kicked off Hospice and Palliative Care Month in Escanaba. Stay tuned.
Now, from the 19 News Forecast Center, this is WZMQ 19 First Warning Weather.
And welcome back on this Monday. It's a new week, it's a new month. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend, but it's time to keep moving forward, and we do have quite a bit to talk about. Today, 48 degrees, the average is 43. The average low is now 29. That's important to note. We're going to be talking about some potential for some colder weather and some snow mixed in with that, but today we did accumulate 1/10 of an inch of rain for us into Marquette. So temperatures are still comfortable right now. This is very seasonal, kind of what we should be seeing at this time of the year, this time of the day. Mid-40s, still some lower 50s in here too, 50 for Escanaba, 48 down into Iron Mountain. Really not too much going on here in terms of rain and temperatures. It's a bit breezy too, that brisk, cool fall air going on, about 15-mile-per-hour wind, so we do have some gusts at about 20, 25 miles per hour, but we don't have any rain knocking on the door out to the west. This was what we kind of accumulated earlier, so we're not looking at any rain for it later this evening. We're nice and clear right now on our radar. We do have a wind advisory though, just for a few counties, Houghton and Keweenaw County, and we did have some fire weather issues. That's when you have some pretty gusty winds and lower relative humidity values. You kind of think about the 15 and 30 rule, 15 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts on that lower end relative humidity, 15 to 30. That's not the most ideal condition. So if you do have a little bit of an issue with a small brush fire, that's when you could get something that's a bit more serious. But we don't have much of that into this area. It is still dry though, and it is still windy, so we just need to be careful if you're having any bonfires outside, still trying to celebrate Halloween. Just be careful of that. Tomorrow, though, I know there's the local election day. Polls will be open, I think, 7 in the morning to 8 at night, and we should be fine. Next best chance of rain holds off until Wednesday morning, so there's really no weather that should be stopping you from performing your civic duty. And then Wednesday, this is when we can start to get those very isolated showers going on, but still looking at rain for at least for the first part of the week, the first half of the week, and we could see up to about maybe a half of an inch, just shy of it, for Thursday. This is also an important thing to note when we talk about potential for lake effect snow. These are not the types of wind directions that we want to see. This is pretty nice setup for lake effect. We're not going to get that on Wednesday. If we do get lake effect, it will likely still be rain. But this is what I want to talk about. I know it's still a ways out, but I want to show you this is kind of what I'm looking at, and I see that there's a pattern going on here. When we get to the weekend, this is now Saturday into Sunday, there is going to be a major low pressure system, and it will be pulling cold air from Canada, so we can't completely rule out the chance of some snow, and it might accumulate. I'll keep looking at this as we go through the week, and eventually there'll be some snow totals, but it's just too early. But I do recognize that there is a pattern and the potential for it, and we're just being transparent, and that's what I see. And as we get closer to it, I'll have some snow total potentials, but we are looking at temperatures to plummet. We'll be into the 30s for the weekend. That's where we could see some potentials of some flurries, and then that will likely carry into this time next week.
Thanks. It does look like it's going to snow, and we got to be very vigilant to make sure that we are prepared. With SNAP benefits in many Marquette County residents are running out. Many residents around here are facing food insecurity because of the Negaunee Public Library is giving away meals left over from the summer's Gather to Grow program, thanks to Feeding America West Michigan. The meals are for any child under the age of 18 and any disabled adult under the age of 26. Each meal contains enough food for a nutritious lunch and contains protein like tuna and kid-friendly items like pizza and applesauce.
If people wanted to have a little picnic here at the library, or while it's still nice outside, they can do that. They can take it home, save it for maybe a weekend meal or something. So we're back to getting food into the hands of kids.
The meals are free of charge and available at the library front desk throughout November from 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. every Monday and Thursday while supplies lasts. Insights is coming up right after the break. We'll be speaking with Marquette DDA about some festive events this November and December. We'll be right back.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local, with John Truitt.
Marquette County is officially gearing up for the holidays with plenty of festive events to get the community in the spirit. Here with the details is Mike Bradford of the Marquette DDA. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell me, what is going to be happening in November and December?
Yeah, it's actually been a minute since I've been back in here. But yeah, the first thing coming up is Ladies' Night Out. It is back. It'll be next Thursday, so kind of like right when hunting season kicks off, and which has always been where it's historically kind of landed, to basically let the women hit the downtown and enjoy all that it has to offer. And we're talking over 70 businesses will be participating this year, offering all kinds of promotions, all kinds of specials. Basically, you think it, they probably have it.
And it's supporting a good cause, is it not?
Yeah, so every year we partner with the Women's Center of Marquette County to help raise some funds for their mission. This is just one of the events that we kind of collaborate with them on, just to try and help pay it forward. I also think that it just naturally fits with the nature of this event, because Ladies' Night Out, it's November now, and things really start to slow down for the downtown. And so this is kind of a good way to kick off the holiday shopping, or, you know, if you don't want to, like me, procrastinate your holiday shopping, just go out and treat yourself. I mean, we have over 20 restaurants and breweries and bars participating, over 40 retailers and like shops participating, all bring something different and something that I can guarantee you somebody watching would enjoy.
Tell me about Small Business Saturday.
This kind of helps kind of lead into it too, gets you acquainted with the small businesses. So yeah, always that Saturday after Thanksgiving is Small Business Saturday. Black Friday does get a lot of, I think, attention, because yeah, you got the big box stores, you got the big deals, the door busters, what they call them. But Small Business Saturday, I think, is one of the most important, you know, components of that weekend, because small businesses, they make up, you know, a big part of this community. It's made up of, it's owned by locals, it's worked by locals, and it's shopped by locals, and it helps keep the money here locally. The power of your dollar, I think, goes way further when you shop locally than it does at any big box store. And so Small Business Saturday is so important, especially for our downtown.
Are there going to be any promotional events? Any promotions for Small Business Saturday?
Yeah, so we try to market it, but when it comes down to the incentive, each business does its own thing. I mean, it's one of the biggest days of the year for them. And again, same like Ladies' Night Out, it helps give them that shot in the arm to get them through the slow season. Because as soon as we hit, say, January through March, things come to a very slow move. And so it's very important for the local community to help support them, because tourism goes down. It's on to the locals now to support the small businesses.
Thank you, Mike. Jim Koski is next with your Life in the 906. Plus, the latest from Washington on the government shutdown and how it's impacting food assistance benefits. That's next. It's a guy in Chicago one time, the clip broke, and he just held it the whole time. Well, it's time for another slice of life in the 906 with Jim Koski. He's here now to share some thoughts on November. Jim?
Well, you know what, John? With all apologies to T.S. Eliot, April is not the cruelest month. November is. Well, or maybe November's just a little confused. More than any other month, November in the UP is not like what it used to be. Now, I'm in no way one of those people who goes around saying, back when I was a kid. But back when I was a kid, November did not look like it does now. But you know what? No matter how much the climate changes and no matter how much November starts to act more and more like September, it's still a month that brings us many of our most cherished Upper traditions. The biggest of those are UP national holiday, November 15th, the opening day of firearm deer season. It's that time of the year when our camps turn from recreation to inebriation, the time when schools shut down, three-pointer becomes more than just a basketball term, and downstate hunters come to the UP thinking they're mighty warriors, but are, in reality, just a pale imitation of this guy. November is also the time when our gardens start to look like the set of The Walking Dead, the time when flannel shirts become less of an accessory and more of a necessity, the time when we start the month looking forward to turkey and end the month hoping we never see another turkey again, the time when we start to listen to seasonal classics like The Second Week of Deer Camp and Rusty Chevrolet, and the time when the UP's snowbirds begin their annual migration to Michigan's Third Peninsula, Florida. But mostly, November's the time of the year that used to herald the start of our long, cold, snowy winter. However, thanks to the way the world's changing, November is now the month when we can look out our window, see sunshine and green grass, and say to ourselves, back when I was a kid. We'll have to see what this November brings, I guess. I'm Jim Koski, and that's another slice of life in the 906.
Well, we'll have to see what November brings us this year, I guess. That's you. I'm so sorry, folks. I'm reading the wrong thing. Thanks, Jim. And don't forget to join Jim weekday afternoons on Q107 WMQT. New today in Washington, the Trump administration said it will partially fund the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, after two federal judges ruled the government must provide at least some benefits for the millions who rely on it. Our D.C. correspondent Brendan Scanlon breaks down the details tonight on the eve of the 35-day shutdown.
The stories from the weekend were shameful, sickening. People overwhelming food banks, handing out groceries in lieu of Halloween candy.
Federal judges in Massachusetts and Rhode Island last week directed the Trump administration to use a $5 billion emergency fund to cover part of SNAP payments for November. It's a program that usually needs more than $8 billion each month.
A lot of people who are elderly or caretakers, people with disabilities, but then also just a lot of people who work but just don't make enough money to make ends meet.
The USDA had planned to freeze payments starting on Saturday, saying it could no longer fund the program because of the shutdown.
It's actually kind of strange that USDA would say that, because the contingency fund was created for this and funded for this purpose, that when it does lapse, then you'd have this money.
But now the agency is set to move forward with partial payments for the program that supports nearly 42 million Americans, with an average monthly benefit of just under $200. A court order from Saturday directs the administration to provide the funding by Wednesday. However, it's unclear when those funds will show up. In some states, the process of reloading SNAP cards can take up to 2 weeks.
Millions, Mr. President, are now at risk of going hungry. And yet the Democrat shutdown marches on.
Democrats say the administration could tap into another $23 billion fund to avoid cuts altogether.
Providing partial benefits is not enough, is not compliant with the law, and it's particularly cruel of Trump with the Thanksgiving season around the corner.
Reporting in Washington, Brendan Scanlon, WZMQ 19 News.
Kelly has one last look at the forecast after the break. Plus, we'll show you how Delta County organizations recognize Hospice and Palliative Care Month this afternoon. Stay with us.
A final check of your forecastings are pretty calm for us as we settle into this new week ahead and also into a new month coming off of the weekend. Get that extra hour of sleep back. Hopefully you feel rejuvenated. Temperatures tonight will be into the 30s, and for most of this week they'll be comfortable, but we are expecting some cooler air, especially when we get to the weekend, and I'll talk more about that potential for snow coming up later tonight.
Thank you, Kelly. Tonight, Delta County organizations kicked off National Hospice and Palliative Care Month with a special event. OSF Home Care and Hospice hosted its annual Bells for Hospice ceremony on the corner of South Lincoln Road and First Avenue. Staff and volunteers were joined by Northwoods Home Care and Hospice and the Escanaba High School Choral at noon. The group rang bells in recognition of hospice patients and their families, as well as the workers who care for them. The Escanaba Choral sang Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah in honor of those who have passed while in hospice care. That'll do it for us tonight. Have a good evening.